Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the training vlog. It's been a long time since I last posted one of these, so if you are, returning to listen to this 16-minute video, I appreciate you and would really appreciate some interaction of some sort, like a like or a comment. This is the first time I'm going to be posting these onto YouTube as well, so if you're new and it's the first one of these you're seeing, I'm thankful that I've garnered your attention. And if you could please subscribe, that'd be dope. Because I want to start, doing the whole posting on YouTube thing. So, first and foremost, the title of this video is going to be something along the lines of, finally got COVID, so here are my thoughts. As it pertains to training, as it pertains to life, and whatnot. And the reason this is a very long video is that it's the accumulation of 2 weeks worth of training that I just haven't gone around to speaking on, or compiling, editing together, etc. And me and my girlfriend Brielle got COVID this last Friday, essentially. So there's been a whole 5 days since that has happened, from the time of recording this video. And so this week of training is, non-existent for me. I'm kind of just now getting over the disease. And I wanted to now reflect on this time and also in the last 2 years of the pandemic, now that I have just acquired this new perspective. So, again, if you plan on sticking around for the whole thing, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and yeah, I appreciate you a lot. So, just getting into it, as I said earlier, me and my girlfriend Brielle have gotten COVID in this last week, and thankfully, I am in the small population of people now that have never had it until right around this time. I've been dodging the pandemic for 2 years, and safe to say I have changed sort of the way that I've looked at the whole vaccination conversation. Not to the extent that, it's completely changed the way that I've perceived the health benefit of getting vaccinated. In fact, it's actually doubled that sentiment. But it's more so given me an additional lens into looking at our modern conversation around vaccination, which has kind of upset me since, trying to recover from the disease. I think first and foremost, I want to, extend a thankfulness to the people who have provided topics to talk about during these training vlogs, because prior to me, getting COVID, I want to talk about mobility. I want to talk about sport-specific training and overall, gym stuff. But now there's new things that are sort of top of mind, and they entirely have to do with COVID. Now, I think first and foremost, getting the disease is completely eye-opening in terms of when you compare how people talk about their experiences with the disease. Not having it beforehand, seeing people discuss it, you sort of have no stake in the game because you're just one of these, many afflicted people who are affected by the pandemic in ways beyond health, in how, specifically in Alberta, it's highly politicized, the vaccination status to begin with, and also restrictions and where you lie on that spectrum. And depending on where you are in the world, this conversation can look completely different. Now, being in Alberta, there's a very vocal population of people who are anti-vax, anti-restriction, and as the years have gone on, I've sort of not agreed with the sentiment, but I can start to see where it comes from, because there's a lot of frustration when you don't directly feel something affecting you beyond that it restricts your ability to live. And that's where I think a lot of people who are anti-restriction, anti-vax sort of stand on that, because rights and freedoms, whatever, getting undermined. Whether or not that's a valid argument is not the topic of the video, but it's more so remembering that this is a health matter first. That it is indeed a health matter first and foremost, and that should be how we look at COVID. It's not a nuanced take. It's just holy shit, I got it, and My girlfriend got it, and that experience is such a wild card because initially when you get COVID in the first place, you are sort of rolling the dice in terms of how your body reacts to it. In the sense that, like, you could be lucky and be asymptomatic, carry it around scot free, whatever, or you could fucking get hospitalized and die, on the extreme end. And people want to look at numbers and act like, it's really skewed the one way, the survivability is really skewed the one way, but, like, you also don't realize how, like, the disease can affect you between those spectrums. You see what I'm saying? It's not a dichotomy. It's not like you either don't experience it at all or you fucking go get it and die. You can experience a great majority of the symptoms described, and that can severely fuck you up. Now, to, like, just get into the experience of it, I, on Saturday, was completely bedridden. Like, full body muscular pain. Across my body, it kind of felt like DOMS. I was describing it to my girlfriend, like, it's fully DOMS everywhere, and I don't know how to imagine myself in this situation. Like, am I going to think of myself as getting better over the course of time, or am I going to be worse tomorrow? And that kind of questioning, whether we want to act like we have it or not, doesn't have answers, and this is coming from someone who, sitting there with COVID, is trying to figure out how I'm supposed to deal with it, looking online and seeing what is essentially a political battle. Like, it's all these people talking about why you should be vaccinated and why, that's good for you, or why the restrictions don't do anything, or whatever. But it's not like, hey, if you have COVID, probably do this. There is some of that. It's like, take a Tylenol. But, like, when you're experiencing hot and cold flashes and it takes, like, a whole monumental effort to just move, and you're experiencing eye strain and nausea, it literally felt like I was drunk, just kind of sitting there. And all you want to know is just some sort of reassurance that you're going to be okay at the end of it. And I'm healthy. I train probably 15 hours a week, something along those lines, maybe more. And that, that feeling of, like, oh, I'm young and healthy, I can just sort of take it, that isn't what was going through my mind, especially on that first day. Now, granted, I did get better come day 2 and day 3, day 4, and now on my 5th/6th day, I feel almost 100% again. Like, kind of, you might hear it in my voice. I might not completely regain my energy levels, but for the most part, I feel decent. But the thing is, I'm still like positive according to my rapid test. And there's another layer there where, like, you can feel fine, but you also have no idea how transmittable you are and how that can go on to affect someone who will literally die because of the disease. And this is all not new information. This all exists somewhere in some avenue, and you've probably heard it, probably consumed by it, probably see it too much. But the fact of the matter is, you don't really understand how it's going to affect you until it affects you. And I want to sit here and act like, you'll be okay. But, like, truly, I don't know. I can't really say that. And I feel like the sentiment from the anti-vax, anti-regulation, anti-restriction people is that, you can treat it like a flu and you can just kind of go. And that is inherently dangerous because, you have no idea. And you can point at places in the world where it's different now, but, like, no two places are exactly the same, and no two people are exactly the same. And just because I had, like, a mild to non-deadly response to it doesn't mean my sister won't be debilitated by it. Doesn't mean my mom won't be debilitated by it. And I want to, like, spend some time realizing how absurd it is that there are people who want to make the conversation about how I can't go to a restaurant or I can't fucking, fly without these people checking my vaccine history. Like, that is ignorant and that is stupid, and that really detracts from the conversation at hand, which is entirely health. It's entirely like we have this disease that you can't exactly guarantee full immunity from, full protection from, and we have to just react to it collectively. But there are these groups of people that are so vocal and so angry about like this inconvenience in their lives that they want to jeopardize the health of a lot of other people. And it's like, dude, you can't even say that it's not going to affect people because you don't, like, there are people who haven't gotten it, bro. Like, I don't understand the sentiment. I don't understand why we want to be so violent against other people. And it's like, you know, do I necessarily lose in the situation? Do I, you know, end up dying if the world goes back to normal and I can walk around and maybe some rando gives me COVID again? No, more likely than not, I'll, you know, have antibodies. I'll go get boosted, and I'll just absorb the disease and take it as it is. But this is an experience that affected me for 5 days and counting, you know, and I'm fully vaccinated. I've done everything to our standards of health as it stands, besides, you know, getting boosted. But it still afflicted me to a tremendous degree, to a point that like I couldn't be home for the last 5 days. And, you know, we want to act like it's not about that for some reason. You know, it's so easy to pretend that it's less severe than it is when you're not the one bedridden, when you're not the one, you know, fighting for your life in the emergency room, when you're not the one, you know, sacrificing their livelihood just so that you can save some people, you know, because doctors and nurses have to do that every fucking day, and they have zero clue how this is going to affect them if it hasn't already. And if it has, then they fucking know. And people that have had COVID and were affected by it severely understand that this is something that you need to be delicate with. But there are people trying to make it political. And, you know, I was on this side of like, well, maybe mandates and restrictions are a little bit like politicizing the situation a bit too much, and maybe that came out of one side too quickly. But in all actuality, I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for my vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And if this wasn't something top of mind, if this wasn't something that like was rolled out by the public that you should be vaccinated, then I don't know when I would get it. I don't know if, you see what I'm saying? I don't know if my survivability would have been affected given vaccine or not. And I think that as I'm standing, you know, I was good. I was healthy, but I was also vaccinated, and fully vaccinated at that. So this is all to say that like politicizing this vaccination, this disease, has been one of the most disruptive and dangerous things to come out of COVID. Not even necessarily the disease itself, it's the fact that people want to make it not about health. And, you know, it's really easy to be like, well, it's a two-sided argument. Not entirely. To be quite frank with you, it is one-sided. It is one side of people being so angry and making it about rights and freedoms when it's entirely not. And it hasn't been this entire time. And now that I've been affected by COVID and had it, you know, take a stab at my body, and me standing here not knowing if it's like gonna be a long-term issue that I'm dealing with or whatever, it's making me so thankful for the people that have made sacrifices and, you know, made the science that have at least given me this much survivability. And I want the conversation to stay about health. And I know that there are places in the world that have managed to remain consistent with that conversation. Even different parts of Canada have made it about health. And, you know, I just want to be a little bit, what's the word, remorseful and, you know, saddened by the fact that this disease has taken so many people. And you can point to ratios, you can point to percentages or whatever, but like, it has taken people. And if the disease has affected your family, I'm deeply sorry for for you and for the people that couldn't be vaccinated and have to contend with the disease. I'm sorry for the people in the emergency rooms that don't know what life is going to look like, in whatever given time frame that they have. And yeah, I just want to be mournful of the fact that we haven't treated this correctly, and yeah, just deeply saddened by it. In terms of training, I really hope I can get back into the gym soon. But I'm also wrapping up this video. I know it might be a downer, but this is just what I'm thinking nowadays. And thankfully I'm healthy. Thankfully my girlfriend's healthy, or healthier. We're getting there. But I just want to say thank you for sticking around for this long, and talk to you next time.